Welcome to Seasons of You, a podcast about seasons of change and our ever evolving cyclical nature as women. I'm your host, Sarah, and I'll be sharing my experience of harnessing the power of the cycles as a guide for my life. And I'll be speaking to incredible guests where we'll explore struggles, growth, and expansion, and what inspires us to create and live a life that we truly desire. Get cozy and honour this moment for yourself as we dive in to the seasons of you. I acknowledge the traditional custodians of the lands on which I live and travel. I give thanks to the Indigenous Australians who have an enduring and deep relationship to the land, skies, and waters of this country. I recognise that sovereignty was never ceded, and I pay my respects to elders past, present, and emerging. I also give thanks to my maternal lineage, to all the women who came before me, and to all those who came before you. This episode is brought to you by Blossoming with Sarah. I have been listening to lots of podcasts with ads lately, but my podcast is not monetized. I would, though, like to give a little plug to my freebie. It's called Begin Living in Your Rhythm. It's delivered to your email over 3 days to not bombard you with information. Each day gives you something new, from looking at why we struggle to slow down and tune into ourselves, to giving you a gentle introduction on working with your menstrual cycle or the moon, and it includes a beautiful meditation, which is one of my absolute favorites. And there's a simple cycle tracker to help you get started in living more aligned to your cycle. This free offer is designed to show you what it's like to live in rhythm by giving you a little taster with pieces that you can experiment with straight away. The link is in the show notes, so scroll down and have a look. It's free, so you really have nothing to lose, and I'd really love to hear what you think of it if you do decide to jump on it. I am coming to you today from the lands of the Kawa people in outback Queensland. We are staying on another cattle station, and we've been here for a couple of weeks now. It's the longest that we've stayed put in one spot. If anyone is tuning in for the first time and doesn't know anything about me and my life, we are currently traveling slowly around Australia. So we're living full time in our caravan and slowly making our way around the country. We've been on the road for, I think, 3.5 months now. And yeah, we're currently on this beautiful property. It's a really gorgeous setting, and we have been doing some work here. So, all the jobs that just don't get done, like these farmers work really long hours, they work really hard, and there's always something that needs to be done, but there's always lots of jobs that kind of get put on the back burner because other things take priority. So it's been really nice for us to be able to come in and do some of those jobs for them. And I have just been absolutely blown away over the last month, especially, of the sheer generosity of these outback people, of these farmers out in the middle of nowhere or in these tiny little country towns, and the way that they have literally opened their doors to us and welcomed us into the family. Like, it feels like we have been in this area, and even like exactly where we're at right now, it feels like we've been here for such a long time, even though it's only been a few weeks. And I mean that in the best of ways, not in the like, oh my God, this day is taking forever, in that like it's feeling hard and long, but in a really expansive way. Like, I feel like this has been the gift of this lifestyle for us, and traveling like this, time feels so expansive, and I'm just so deeply grateful for that. And yeah, just for the generosity of these incredible people out here. We've had meals cooked and provided for us, and just this beautiful place to park up and connect into a bit of water and power to make things a bit easier for us. we've experienced the local life, and that is really what it's all about for us. It's not just about touring around the country. Yes, we've done the tourist things too, but we really wanted this trip to also be about seeing how other people live. And that's really important for us in educating our son. It's not just like book stuff, and we take more of an unschooling approach. And so it's this real world experience and being able to be like on the ground, not just like telling him, oh, other people live in different ways, but showing him and actually experiencing it for ourselves is just so, so special. And I'm just in such a place of deep, deep gratitude right now. So, getting into the episode, I wanted to share this episode because I feel like our luteal phase gets a really bad rap. And it's largely because many of us have had bad experiences. And it can be really hard to enjoy your premenstrual phase in our modern busy world, and especially when we don't understand what's going on and what the opportunities are for us. But I know how powerful this time of our cycle can be. So I really wanted to share some insight in what's going on so that you can hopefully have even a small shift in how you view it. And so, just to give you some background, I've been thinking of this podcast episode for probably 2 years because this podcast has been on the periphery and an idea for me for many years now. And so I've been recording little pieces of what comes up in my luteal phases for a couple of years now. So, the part of the episode where I'm going to share my own musings from my luteal phases have come from notes that I've taken or like journal entries from many luteal phases over the last 2 years. You'll see common themes, but you'll also see that every luteal phase can be very different. And I think this is really one of the many gifts of being a woman and a cyclical being, because we have this constant opportunity to move through our inner world in a really rich way. And that even though we may move through something once, there are often many layers to it. And the cycles can support us in peeling back each of those layers. So it may be the same or similar themes that come up over and over again. And you might think, oh, this again, oh, again. But really, we are working through it in a slightly different way each time. Okay, so the luteal phase. What comes to mind when you think of this time of your cycle? PMS, moody, irritated, teary, tired. Oftentimes, it's the time of the month that many women dread. We have been conditioned to believe that we are bad or we are wrong while we're PMSing, is the label that gets put on it. And our luteal phase has been weaponized against us. We've been taught that it is a bad thing, that, we're just being moody, like we're made to feel uncomfortable by this natural phase of our life that happens to us every single month. And we've never been taught the opportunities that this time can have for us. So, this episode obviously is not going to magically make your luteal phase easy or make it disappear or make symptoms disappear, but it is here to show you what we can learn from our bodies in this time of our cycle. And I do want to say, I am sending you so much love if your premenstrual phase is a challenging time for you, especially if you experience more severe symptoms or something like PMDD. And I really, really hope that you're able to find some support to help you. You do not have to keep suffering or just accept this as it's part of being a woman, because it's not. And you are not alone in it. And there are things that can help you. So please don't keep struggling and suffering. What's happening in the luteal phase? I'm going to give a really brief rundown because I don't want to assume that everyone knows, because many of us have never been taught what's actually happening in our bodies. So if we break it down really simply, it's the second half of your menstrual cycle. And this is where progesterone is the predominant hormone. So, from ovulation to your bleed is your luteal phase. So, if you are just beginning in cyclical living, working with your menstrual cycle, if you can figure out that only 2 times of the month that you need to kind of learn in your body, figure out when you're ovulating and when you're bleeding. That's all you need to know to get started. And so from ovulation to your bleed is luteal, although we are most likely to experience this phase as the week to kind of a week and a half before our bleed. So it's what we would typically call the premenstrual phase of our cycle. And it's what I would call my inner autumn because I speak to our inner seasons, to each piece of our menstrual cycle. If that interests you, I do have an episode where I talk through the inner seasons. If you want to check that one out, it's a really great introduction into breaking your menstrual cycle into 4 phases and keeping it really simple of how to start working with them. So let's take a little look at what some of the opportunities are of this luteal phase. This is the time of our cycle that helps us to review our lives and look at what's working, and it really highlights what's not working. So every time you feel frustrated, irritated, enraged, this is your body giving you hints for what you can change. And so that you can feel better, especially if it feels really hard. In the first half of your cycle, which is the follicular phase, bleed to ovulation, estrogen is the predominant hormone. And this essentially is our people pleasing hormone. It supports us to nurture others. And this is the hormone that drops in the second half of our cycle, which is where we feel these frustrations because estrogen is no longer strongly masking all the shit we have put up with for the rest of our cycle. That veil kind of lifts and we see things, it's like seeing things without rose-colored glasses. And so one of the strengths of the luteal phase is that it is our truth-telling time. And we get brutally honest with ourselves and with others. Like, I'm actually not okay with carrying the whole mental load of the family on my own. Or can someone else put the goddamn bins out? Or does anyone else ever wash a dish or do laundry? That might sound familiar. The key here, though, of course, is how we can navigate these frustrations without being unkind to ourselves, to others, or without scaring ourselves or our family. Another strength that comes from this is the ability to review and refine. So, if there's things you've been working on, you can edit in this time of your cycle, or you can look at how you're working towards your goals and what might need some refinement or some course correction. It's also a time that we will feel more called inwards. And often, if we're not used to what this feels like for us, it actually looks like pushing people away. So just notice for those times where you're pushing loved ones away and consider if it's actually that you need to say more gently, I need some alone time, and carve that out for yourself without guilt. Now, I'm going to move into sharing some of my personal reflections across different months of my luteal phase, just to give you some real life examples of how things can come up, how they can present themselves, and how I work through it. I think that's probably the piece that is most helpful. Okay, so this one, what I wrote here was when my son was probably about 4 or 5, I reckon. And I wrote, every luteal phase, I ask myself this question. Why is my son always so needy and whiny in my luteal phase? And why am I always so challenged in parenting and in enjoying it and in staying present? And I always come back to this story that I tell myself it's because he's feeding off my energy and that I'm a bit cranky, so he gets whiny and I don't want to give him my attention, so all he wants is to demand attention. And honestly, of course, I'm going to acknowledge that there is probably some truth to that. But also, the more that I work with the cycles, the more years I get into parenting as well, I can actually reflect and realize that it's not that he's whining more at this time of my cycle. It's not that he's more demanding or more needy. It's that he's actually showing up as his true self with his truest needs right now. And that's across the board, the whole month. It's just that at this time of the month, I don't have the capacity to hold it all compared to other times of the month where I have hormones that are supporting me and giving me a boost. I have more fucks to give in other times of my cycle, whereas in this phase, I have sweet fuck all fucks to give. Could you tell how I was feeling? And that is why it feels like he is more whiny, more needy, and it's more challenging. It's my capacity levels across the month that changes, and I get to meet myself in this place of curiosity, not judging myself, not shaming myself, not telling myself that I just need to do better, but acknowledging it. And then I went into a little action piece and asked myself a bunch of questions and worked through those. So I'll share those questions in case this scenario is something that you find yourself in, and these reflections might help you with what you can do to support yourself. How can I take the pressure off? How can I make this feel a little more easeful? Where do I need to set a boundary, whether it's with him, whether it's with myself, or that I'm doing too much? What support can I lean on? Are there other people that I can lean on? Is it an environment that I can go to and feel better in? Is it doing more of the activities that are input from other people or resources? So the heavy lifting of the parenting and homeschooling is less full on for me. So you can kind of see like I'm really reflective. I'm like kind of just going on a bit of a rant, but then I kind of reel it back in and go, all right, what's here for me? And then, asking all those questions. And then I would have journaled on that and then taken a few pieces where I can go, all right, this is what I can do right now. This is what I need right now. And then this one is the next month on. I have been feeling mega frustrated. I'm very overwhelmed at everything that is going on in life. Huge transitions, a lot on my plate, a lot of emotions that I'm not feeling, that are bubbling to the surface, and then I'm just squashing back down. But I'm feeling really frustrated at being anywhere near other people. I feel like I just want to repel everyone, feeling like, don't come near me, don't touch me, don't talk to me, don't even look at me, don't breathe near me, just don't be near me. Sitting here reflecting on this, what is this luteal phase wanting me to learn right now? What does it illuminate for me? It is showing me that I'm not getting alone time or enough downtime. I'm not stopping and slowing down enough. I'm showing up for myself in a lot of ways, but I'm not resting enough. I'm not getting any alone time. I am not carving that out for myself. I'm not asking for it. I'm not making it happen. And then the times that I am getting some time to myself, I'm not utilizing it or what my energy needs. I'm not making the most of it. I'll either do something for my business or the house rather than myself. I've kept myself stuck in the old pattern of I'll do this and then I can rest, which I know is all old conditioning. I'm doing a lot of scrolling. I'm getting stuck in Instagram, and then it gets to the end of my alone time and I get fucking annoyed, but I'm most frustrated at myself because if I hadn't spent 15 minutes scrolling Instagram, I could have spent 15 minutes meditating or reading or anything that would help me feel better. So maybe this is the thing I need some more clarity on. What is it that I would like to do in my alone time that would feel nourishing and that would fill my cup? Whether it's 2 minutes or half an hour, what would I do? And then I wrote a little list so that I had a menu to choose from and begin making some more conscious choices. So you can see again, we can kind of pull apart our experience. We can go acknowledging, yes, this is how I'm feeling, and that is valid and that is real. But then dig a little deeper and like, what is beneath that? Why is this coming up for me? And this is not a blame game. This is not a shame game. This is just curiosity and observing and then reflecting and going inward and really using the power of the luteal phase and that power to go inward and be reflective and really review and kind of get brutally honest with ourselves so that we can figure out what's actually going on for us and how we can support ourselves moving forward. This next little piece is something that I wrote as kind of like a little note to my husband, which I never shared with him, but I'm sure many of you in relationships may resonate with what it can feel like for us during our luteal phase in relation to our partners or, within our relationships. To my husband, for that time you lose me each month. I'm snappy and snitchy, short and harsh. I slam doors, raise my voice, and scrunch up my face as my shoulders live up by my ears and my hands in fists. Deep breaths are my way of calming, and long sighs express my frustrations. I know you cop it, and for that I'm sorry. I tell myself hourly, just snap out of it, stop being such a bitch, but I feel stuck in a limbo I can't control. Then I start to withdraw, and I know you feel that, probably more. I promise it's not that I don't love you, don't value your company, but this time of month my focus is me. My inner world pulls me deep into my mind, and my body speaks louder. So I ask you to be kind, and kind you are, plus patient and loving, and for that I'm so grateful. You have no idea just how much I appreciate that you stick by me through all of my moods. I know it's not easy, believe me, I'm living it, but one thing we know by now is to trust the process. We know the things I need to make it less bumpy, and once I've gone underground to the void, we know I'll come back to you. And I think this is really the power of cycle awareness, not just for ourselves, but for our relationships. It can be really healing, it can bring us closer together and can really strengthen a relationship. Now, last little bit here, this next little section was 2 months recently where I kind of noted things down every day to give you a bit of an insight into how things can shift like day to day across the luteal phase. I've kind of compiled it so that you can see that like not every day is just being pissed off all the time. So day 18, 19, feeling inspired, an urgency to get things done, sensing the peak is over and soon begins the dip. Day 20, dropping down, feeling a little tired. Instructions to hubby, no groping now, it makes me cringe. Frustrated with things not working. Reminder to pace myself, luteal is just beginning. Let's not have a repeat of last month because that felt awful. Day 24 to 25, energy waning more each day, each hour. Just want to lay down and close my eyes. I feel like I'm falling. Sluggish. Went out this morning, laid on the couch all afternoon. Day 26, so tired. Feeling bored? Question mark. Calm mostly, a huge difference than last luteal, but got overwhelmed at the end of the day, yelled, and shut myself in the bathroom for a big old cry. Day 27, and remembering each day can be a different experience for us, reminding myself I'm cyclical and that's exactly how I'm meant to be. Tears constantly bubbling just under the surface, anger quick to rise, shame to quell, sadness to feel. So thankful for a friend who knows me so well. She asks the exact questions that bring the tears flowing, that move me, all while she hears me pour my truth out and just holds me in it. I'm tired, I'm lost, I'm low. I'm a woman. I'm having a human experience and I find great comfort in that. Day 28. Tired, irritated, teary. Everything feels too much. Leave me alone. Don't talk to me. Pushing away because I need to be alone. Want to curl up in a ball. Nothing feels quite right. I can't settle. Inner critic is loud. A bit of spotting. God, I hope that means I'll bleed soon. Physical energy battery is low, social battery is very low. In the void, it feels uncomfortable. Embrace it, surrender to the crumbling. I don't need to hold it all. So much information here for where I haven't met my needs this cycle, and therefore what to focus on next cycle. Day 29. I felt better yesterday after some rest, so set the intention for more rest today. Swaying between irritation, deep gratitude, joy, apathy. Resting helps, more of that, please. Reading rather than scrolling. Phone is for connecting today, not creating. Mindful of my energy. Conserve it. A little spotting, not convinced I'll bleed today. I just hope the cycle doesn't drag too long. What am I holding on to? And then day 30/day 1. Wake to no sign of bleeding. It's time to go inwards and meet the stagnation, the blockage, the fear of letting go. Candlelit, cleansing sage, journaling what's swirling in my mind. Hips a little twingy. Womb starting to feel a little heavy, but no sense of release yet. Mid-afternoon, things begin shifting. With the movement of my blood, my mood shifts too. Oh, sweet release is coming. I feel like a different person. So, there's some personal shares of my experiences of my luteal phases. Can you see the recurring themes? Frustration or anger, sadness or feeling teary, tired or sluggish, harsher towards myself and others and just life. And see how I feel within my relationships, how I want to withdraw. So I lash out, that like pushing away to get the alone time we need. And then I feel guilt or shame often. And then how I invite self compassion here too. And also see how I ask myself questions. This is the time of my cycle where I ask myself the most questions. It's like a constant thing. And that's what it means for me in going inward and doing the inner work. So, can you see where the opportunities for growth are in the luteal phase? Will you now approach your next luteal phase differently? And what will you start to learn from your next luteal phase? I'd really just invite you to be more curious. Next time you're in that phase and things feel heavy or sticky or messy or foggy or frustrating, just ask yourself, what is here for me in this? What is my body trying to tell me? I think the biggest takeaway with all of this is that our premenstrual time, this luteal phase, is not a bad thing. These feelings are not bad. Like, I don't want us to label it as frustration is bad for us or getting pissed off with everything is a bad thing. It's not, it's information. It is our bodies telling us, showing us really clearly where things aren't working for us that we kind of can put up with at other times of our cycle. And so, even if you do like one small thing to help you embrace your luteal phase, it is just inviting you to see the opportunity here rather than villainizing this part of your cycle, because it's actually really beautiful. And like, I'm not saying it feels great and feels like sunshine and rainbows because it doesn't. The feelings are still real, the feelings are still there. You're still going to feel frustrated or sad or however it presents itself for you. But it's then what you're doing with that information. It's being kind to yourself while you're having those feelings. It's having more capacity for the repair when those things happen. So, repairing with yourself, repairing with your loved ones when you do lash out, because you're human and it's going to happen. Again, it's not a bad thing. You're not broken because you have PMS, like it's a normal experience. The extremes of it aren't normal. If it's a time that you really struggle, please go and get some help. But these common themes that you will see in my experience, I can imagine you will probably be experiencing or have experienced yourself. I'm sure that you can see your experience in what I have shared, at least to some degree. And so bringing that kindness in and reminding yourself, oh, I'm not broken. There's not anything wrong with me, but I get to now go, what is here for me? And what do I need right now? And then actually getting yourself the thing that you need. I'd really love to hear from you after listening to this episode. What did you resonate with? Did you learn something? Even just sharing with me, what is your luteal phase like? Please come and DM me on Instagram. I promise there's no judgment in what you're feeling or experiencing. And so often, what we need most is to be seen and to be heard without shame, without expectation, to just allow ourselves to be in it. So I'd love to witness you if you are needing someone to hold you. I should probably do a business thing too, then, and also say if you truly want to be held and heard and guided, especially if you'd love for your luteal phase to become a time of transformation rather than just feeling like an imposter in your own life, it would truly be my honor to hold you in one-on-one mentoring. So please reach out if that's the kind of support you need. I have a few options there. So come and ask the question if it is calling to you. Whew, I feel like I'm probably going to have a bit of a vulnerability hangover from that one, sharing quite deeply and openly my experiences. But I hope it's been helpful to you. Even if you just take one little thing and it shifts your perspective on what this phase of your cycle can be for you, I think that, it's absolutely worth me putting my heart out there in this way. Thank you so, so much for listening. I am so glad you're here. See you in the next one. I want to invite you into a moment for integration, because consumption of knowledge is great, but where it turns into wisdom is when we reflect and bring it into our own lives. So my invitation here is to reflect for a minute on what's been shared today, and then choose one tiny step you can take to bring those lessons into your life. Take a deep breath and devote yourself to that step today. With my deepest gratitude, I am so honoured that you have chosen to listen to this episode today. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Be sure to check the show notes for any relevant links, references, and resources. A final note that this podcast is a space for sharing personal stories, experiences, and inspiration. It's not medical or professional health advice. By listening, you accept full responsibility for how you choose to take or apply any of the information shared. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't. You are a sovereign being. Always follow your heart and choose what feels best and true for you.